All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the createTED podcast. You can see we're outside in beautiful Provo. Today, got the mountains behind us. I'm happy to have my guest, Michael Young, with me. He's one of my friends, one of my coworkers. And just wanted to have him on, and I'll introduce kind of our topic. But I think I want to give Michael the chance just to introduce himself a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. I had a very interesting growing up experience. I was an Air Force kid, so I kind of lived a little bit of everywhere. I've seen the world a little bit, and that's always kind of built that kind of creative drive in me. Just seeing other countries and other people, even different regions of the U.S. are so different. I mean, moving from Oklahoma to New Jersey is whoa, that was a culture shock, Yeah, which we did.
Yeah.
And then New Jersey.
Everything's legal in New Jersey, so.
What's that?
Everything's legal in New Jersey.
Yes. Yeah. So, but yeah, I kind of grew up just devouring, every book I could get my hands on, and kind of raised with also with a strong musical tradition. So I grew up both enjoying writing and reading, but also singing, piano, that sort of thing. So, and luckily I had parents who encouraged that. They were very open about, okay, like if you start working on these talents now, like when you're grown up, you'll be able to do a lot with them, and able to help people with them, and serve other people. And yeah, they were totally right about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went here to BYU about 20 plus years ago. I was a missionary over in Germany. That was really fun for my creative mind to seeing all those amazing things. But yeah, I've been a public school teacher. I've been an instructional designer, called course designer. But no matter what else I've been doing, there's been an undercurrent of also keeping some of my creative work alive. I've published a number of books through various publishers, both fiction and nonfiction, and I've also done a lot with music, both on the stage, like in stage productions, but also been in the Tabernacle Choir for about 15, almost 16 years. I was in it back when it was still the Mormon Tabernacle Choir when I got in. they changed.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's yeah. I live here in Utah now. Have a family, and just kind of trying to juggle all the many different responsibilities I have, because I'm busy, but it's a good busy.
Yeah. And the thing I love about Michael, he's a man of many talents.
Thanks.
I mean, talked about how he's in the Tabernacle Choir. It's always fun when they're performing to try to see if I can find Michael on the screen. It's like, where's Waldo, but it's where's Michael.
Yeah, I don't have a striped hat though. Sorry, that would make it a lot easier. A little pom pom.
And for me, that's an important one, because like my mom loved Tabernacle Choir. Like she would listen to music in the spoken word, which they just had their 5,000th episode.
Yeah, in July. That was amazing.
She listened to that for years. Every Sunday would turn it on. And then she got older and older and older. That's what she would listen to calm her down. So I've got a special connection with that. So just thank you for just what you bring as part of the choir.
Yeah, you bet. It's been a great experience all the way through, and got a few more years to keep doing it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's a plug to go check out the Tabernacle Choir if you want just
definitely
good uplifting music that just brings a lot of brightness to your day. Check them out. While you're on the internet, Michael's also has a YouTube channel where he's got a mix of telling you the history behind music, all the way over to I think one of the latest ones is Muppets parody of Hamilton.
Yeah,
which is a popular thing right now.
Yeah, so, I like to do voices and such.
He does the voices. He's got actually while we're on that. So Michael and I are working on a project right now. We're actually going to be filming this later this afternoon, where we're doing a podcast for a science course, and he does the voices for the narrator and for the kid, and I do the detective. But I mean, it's a ton of fun. So he's got that kind of stuff. Yeah. He's got his books that he's writing. Look him up on Amazon. They're on there. So it's just a little plug to go check Michael out.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah. And I love that you talked about how throughout your life there, regardless of what you're doing, that you've been working towards your creative goal, and I know what your creative goal is, but I'm gonna let you tell our audience kind of what your creative goal is, and then we're gonna
Absolutely.
talk about that a little bit and just some of the unique challenges that presents.
Yeah, like I really hope to be at some point to be a full-time creative. That is just the place where I feel the most myself, where that's most fulfilling. And yeah, like you said, I've got a kind of a broad spectrum of interests and abilities that, yeah, I think if I could find the right niche and find the right audience, yeah, I think it could be a really great fit. It's just, I don't know, trying to break into anything these days is really tough.
Yeah.
And even some of the things that I have somewhat broken into, like, I just feel like there's no guarantee. Like we have one success that doesn't
Yeah.
guarantee that the next thing is gonna, have any measure of success. So it's tough. It's really, it's hard to keep from being discouraged sometimes.
And I'm grateful you brought that up, that it's tough. So right now we're both working full time,
Yeah.
and a lot of the audience members, they're working full time or they're working part time, and they might have this creative goal, whether it's to be a novelist or be an artist or an editor, or it could be a cook, it could be something creative that's different than what they're doing. Because
Absolutely.
I really think everyone has a creative element to them because we're all children of God. That's a
Absolutely.
gift
Yeah.
we've been given. Um, and there's different times and seasons. Right now, we're both in a time and season where working full time is, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the question I want to talk through is how do we still pursue that creative goal of being a creative? For you, it's your goal is to become that full time creative. Mine, I'm not sure. Like it used to be that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's like I love what I do. I don't think that's for me. My role is more supporting my wife, who is an artist, and I've got a daughter who's a writer. So supporting them and then supporting friends like you. But I still have to work full time,
Yeah.
and so how do we juggle that? Because it's not easy, is it?
No, not at all. And like you said, it kind of ebbs and flows. Sometimes you
Yeah,
can't. Yeah, like sometimes you've got really got to prioritize and to just say, my current employment that's supporting my family, it really is number one. Like right now, I'm having less time to be creative because of the deadlines at work, and
yeah,
sometimes you just have to accept that
mm,
and say, it's going to ebb and flow. There's going to be a time when it's going to be a little bit easier, and just kind of look forward to that. Um, but that's not to say that you get nothing done. I
yeah.
think you have to think a little bit creatively. uh, Sorry, I don't want to say that. I was like, oh, what's another way to say outside the box without saying outside the box? That's a little cliche, right?
It works.
Yeah, but uh, finding kind of creative ways to work in that
Yeah,
creativity. I know for example, one of the things that I've discovered now that AI is so good, the AI transcription is
mm,
really, really good now. Yeah, it used to be like 10 years ago, I dabbled in it and it just wasn't good
yeah,
enough. But now it is. And so I've taken sometimes, like when I'm doing other things, that I transcribe myself just on my phone.
mm,
I record myself and say, uh, as if I'm writing,
yeah,
as if I'm something that I either brainstorming or writing. And then I just shoot that into one of my AI transcription things. And then I created a GPT that where all it does is it cleans up the formatting, adds
yeah,
missing punctuation, formats it all nice and pretty. And then I just paste that into my work in progress. Of
yeah,
course, making sure to go over it, make sure nothing weird happened in the
yeah,
process, because sometimes it does. But honestly, that saved me so much time and has allowed me to kind of eke in those little moments of just making a little bit of progress. It's helped me make progress on a daily basis, even if I'm
yeah,
busy. Because sometimes, I'll just do it while I'm taking care of some housework, or even when I'm commuting. I'm just sitting there and just talking to myself in my car. It probably looks really crazy if I, somebody looks over like there's no phone inside. I'm just, babbling to myself. But
I got to know, when you're doing that, are you talking in the characters' voices?
oh yeah, yeah. You got well, because and that's not just for fun, which it is fun, but it is also just, it helps you speak like they would. Like it kind of give it a mixing and make it sound more natural to that character. Yeah, so that actually is an advantage of doing it out loud. Is it's easier to kind of put yourself in the mind in that character's shoes, and then speak it and in a way that sounds more convincing and unique to that character. So, awesome. For example, that's just one example that I have, and that might be different for you.
Yeah. Well, here's what I love about this is audience members know. Like, I always try to bring things back to, in order to reach a goal and to get, create this life that we want to, we have to do two things. We have to be deliberate, and we have to be very innovative in our approach.
Yeah, that's what I should have said. Innovative.
And so Michael's a great example of how he's being very strategic in the choices he's making about working towards that goal. But then he realizes he's got constraints. And I really think constraints are what actually drive creativity. If you don't have constraints, you won't be as creative. But with these constraints you have, you only have limited amount of time. You've found innovative ways to leverage, great technology right now, AI, in a way that can be beneficial to a creative, but still allows that creative person to enjoy the benefits of the creative process and actually create and still have ownership there. It's not the machine creating it that you're trying to then use. And not to say there's not a place for that, but as a creative, you can still use it to help you focus more on that creative process. You can talk and let it transcribe, then you go revise it, rather than taking hours and hours and hours to type it up, which is what it would have taken before me. It would have taken
exactly
days.
Or like I'm just not in a place where I can physically write, so like it just wouldn't happen, or that I just have to sit and that would actually be a longer process. Like that wouldn't be saving me any time.
Do you mind if I share with them the project you did over the last?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
okay.
Because honestly, that's a good example of another way to help capitalize on the limited creative time that you have. But yeah, go ahead, take it away.
So Michael has this list that he had gathered of projects he's worked on over time.
Yeah.
And it was a big project, but they all, and you correct me where I get it wrong.
Sure.
But they were all kind of at a draft state. So we'd gone through a lot of these novels, but none of them were ready to be shopped around yet. And he wanted to figure out, okay, how do I do that? And so he went through a process of kind of cleaning them up and getting them ready, and then figuring out, okay, which ones are the ones I'm most interested in and which ones do I start on? And so when we first started talking about it, it was this huge list, and Michael was like, man, I'm not sure where to go with this. But as he jumped in and started putting that process in place, now I think you've gone through all of them.
I have.
Which is amazing.
It took 6 months, but I literally worked on it every day. And like had a specific, like I'm going to look at 2 chapters of a manuscript every day. And I had some other tools that assisted me in that, which were really nice. But yeah, exactly. It was the, actually setting the goal and like making it a concrete thing where I could just bite off a chunk every day and, eventually get there.
And it's been awesome to see. And here's the things, as great as what I've noticed for me, I noticed it for friends and family, when we don't feel like we're working towards that creative goal or being involved in that creative process in the way we think we should, even if it's in a time and season where there's not a lot of time, we tend to beat ourselves up, be like, I'm not doing it. I'm miserable and horrible, and I'm going to be a little vulnerable for you here.
Sure.
There was when Michael and I first started talking about this, you could see the weight on him of, I'm not fulfilling the creative potential that I want to.
That's exactly right.
And then at the end of the process, and even actually before the end, within the first week, like it totally transformed him. And it's just been so much fun to watch. And we've had quite a few chocolate milks, and we still haven't done one that you've finished everything.
That's true. That's
true.
We
got to go do another chocolate milk.
That's just a different, like milestones
Yeah.
along the way. That's you're
So,
celebrating. Hey, you
yeah.
got 3 projects
Yeah.
done.
And I think that's an
Yeah.
important thing to do as you're working through these different creative goals. You've got to find a way to celebrate, even if it's just something small.
It's true. Just well, and setting milestones too, being like, okay, you've got you have this X number of chapters to write. After 3, after 6, after 12, or whatever. Yeah, it's because it feels good to have little wins.
Yeah.
That's something I learned as a teacher is giving your students the little wins that add up over time. Yeah, because you get that little, you know,
Yeah.
that little reward in your mind, in your yeah, the little endorphin
Yeah.
rush
Yeah.
of having succeeded.
I mean, in all across the scriptures, whether it's the Bible or the Book of Mormon, that concept of by small and simple means are great things brought to pass.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah.
Um, and that's actually creatively for me, with the exception of the podcast, I feel like I'm doing good. I'm actually working on I've never said this on camera or to anybody, so I'll put it out there and I'm going to
Ooh,
be accountable for it.
an exclusive.
So I'm working with a friend on, I've been doing instructional design in one way or another for 20 plus years.
Wow,
And
that's amazing.
so I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a instructional design book. And it's not going to be like a big fat textbook, but
That's probably a good thing.
yeah. And so we're trying to do that, but now it's like, and I have a professor who said, hey, I'd love to use that in my class. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And last night I'm like, I'd love to have this ready for next fall for them to use.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I've got a lot of work to do. But last night I sat down, I finished up the draft of the first chapter. I'm like, okay, good. I've got that one done. It's a draft. I know there's holes in it, but I can check the box, be like, yeah, I got it done. Let's go start on the next one. But not having those milestones in place, not having something I'm marching towards, just leaves me kind of floating. And for my own mental health, like as a creative, if I don't have that kind of plan in place, I know even if it's a season where like, hey, I can't work on any of my big projects, but I can write some poems here and there. If I've got a plan in place to exercise creativity, I'm good. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's more that I'm working on it. And I think that applies to just all aspects of life, like having that structure there of having something you're working towards, because otherwise you're just sitting still. And
Yeah, one of the fundamental principles of the gospel is hope, right? We
yeah,
talk about faith, hope, and charity. And I think having something you're working for is not only requires faith that you really think that you
yeah,
can get there, but then it awakens that hope in you.
yeah,
Like you can see the end, and that motivates you to keep going.
yeah,
Um, there's so much power in I say in consistency,
mm,
in finding the little bit that you could consistently do every day. It's great when you have these. Some days you wake up and you just have a creative brainstorm and
yeah,
you get a lot done, but you're not going to be able to sustain that every day.
yeah,
But finding like, okay, what is the thing that I could do every day that I could do consistently? Because that
yeah,
consistency is what's going to help you finish
yeah.
projects.
Going back to your, 2 chapters a day.
Yeah,
I mean, consistency.
it did. Yeah, and I was able to do it. It wasn't too daunting.
Yeah,
Like even if it was getting near the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I could still. That's not
yeah,
more than I can chew.
yeah.
Like I could still do that.
And the thing I love, I've been reading the book Deep Work by Cal Newport lately,
Oh yeah, I've heard of
and
that.
fascinating book. Highly recommend it. That concept of having blocks of time where you can dive deep into stuff. And as you were talking about, what you went through, I'm like, in those moments of time, and it obviously, if you can get a bigger chunk of deep work, that's better.
For sure.
But sometimes life doesn't give you that.
No,
But if you can block out and say, this is reserved for this, you can go deep and you can really produce some great things and then be consistent about it. And then over time, those small pieces of deep work have really, really added up. So
yeah, I mean that's what shaped the mountains behind us.
that's
It's
true.
it's the slow erosion
Yeah.
of over time. Just that consistency of every single day, just a little bit further, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's such a powerful concept.
Yeah.
And if you can really realize that in your life, it's very satisfying because then once in a while you end up at your goal, at your big win.
Yeah.
And that, that's a thrilling experience, because it helps you just feel better as as a person too. Just like, okay, you know what, that was hard, but I took it on. I accomplished that.
Yeah. Harkening back to Jennifer Nielsen's interview, I think it was the last episode. She talked about how we have different peaks that we climb to.
Yeah.
And once you get up there, you realize there's more peaks. So you're with what you talked about, you've come up to the top of the summit. You've completed that. And I always like to ask guests, what's next for you? What's, what's either, what changes are you making, or what new opportunities are coming around for you?
Yeah, so you mentioned I was polishing up all those different manuscripts. So I've currently sent them out to a number of people, including you,
Yeah.
to get some feedback, just like the beginnings of several of them, because I really would love to start shopping some of those around. They've just kind of been on my my hard drive for a long time.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's nice revisiting some of these, that like, hey, I've learned a thing or two. I've matured a little bit more in my writing, so I can polish them up even more than they were before. But yeah, that's kind of what's next for me. I hope the shopping around a few of these manuscripts. I'm also working on some more nonfiction projects. I do nonfiction about music.
Yeah.
And that I've got several of those that have already been released, and actually another one on the way.
Awesome.
Yeah, so lots of good stuff there. I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking of considering what to do on my YouTube channel in the new year, and kind of figuring out, okay, my problem I think is with my YouTube channel is I have so many interests.
Yeah.
I kind of like, oh, that's a fun idea, and that's a fun idea, and I just kind of throw it all out there. And starting out, I kind of wanted to throw out a lot of different things to see, like, what works better than other things. But now I kind of have an idea of some of the things that work a little bit better. So now I think it's the time to hone in on just a few things. And so this upcoming year, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to consistently do just X, Y, and Z, and see where that takes me.
Awesome.
So
no, that's just a great example of, because sometimes for creatives, especially for me, like I'll have so many ideas. I'm like, I'll try this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're like, oh, I have too many ideas. I don't know where to start. And I love that you started to say, no, I'm going to put all these out here and let's see what happens. Maybe something will resonate more, and then refine. So I think that's some great advice.
I mean, YouTube's good for that, because they give you such good analytics. Like, you can literally see, oh wow, this one got X number of views, and these other ones don't seem to be really not finding an audience. So that's a little bit harder to do with books.
That is true.
But I mean, the concept is still sound.
Yeah. Where can people find you on YouTube?
You bet. So my channel is called Mike Drop Music, but spelled out my name, Mike, M-I-K-E. Mike Drop Music. I focus a lot on inspirational music, whether it's sacred music or show tunes. I'm definitely a Broadway guy. But there's quite a, and then I do some music history as well. Like that's really I don't know. I just have the bug. I just love diving into the stories behind songs, and the people that created these songs, these iconic songs that people know. And then you can also find me online. I have an author website, just authormichaelyoung.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then look, especially the books on the history of music. Whether there's it's October right now. We're starting to come into the Christmas season. He did one on the history of some Christmas carols, which I highly recommend. It was a lot of fun to read. It was like a Christmas Advent. If I remember right, there was one for every day.
There was, yeah. So it's called an Advent Carols Countdown. And so, there is one from the first. You can read one a day from the 1st of December until the 24th. And that one actually is one of my books that's actually seen the most success out of all of my books.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that. And there's been people, it's just been out a couple years, and people have told me, like, we pull it out again every Christmas. It's now a tradition, and that made me feel pretty good.
That's
actually,
pretty cool. He's got a good one for Easter, and
I do have one for Easter. Yeah.
It's a great book. So you can find that on Amazon.com.
Yeah.
If you go, you'll find it on Deseret Book. You can find it kind of anywhere, but just look up his name, go to his website, and the information you need will be there. But Michael, was so much fun having you on.
Hey, you bet. Thanks for having
Thanks for
me.
being a guest, and we got to keep creating. And listeners, until next episode, see you then.